Hi, my name is Jason Bunn-Parsons. I'm director of the Autism Ambassadors Corps, and I was late putting out the announcement for this month's meeting because I just got tied down with all kinds of stuff, completing peer support certification training so I can get a job, get off SSDI, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and so I literally did not put out the announcement until yesterday. However, I'm kind of glad that I didn't because over the past 2 weeks I've had contact a couple of wives with autistic husbands that have contacted me and expressed it, that they've had frustration, with their husbands, and we're not going to go into explicit detail. I already told them before we turn on the camera that this is not the ideal venue to discuss specific issues pertaining to what they're dealing with currently. However, the larger subject of the conflict between autistics and non-autistics, whether we're talking about spouses, parents, peers, employers, whatever, that is going to be the main focus of today's discussion. And so neurotypicals, yes. And so anyways, the final straw, or the decisive thing that happened was that one of these wives that are here told me that she went to a autistic support group. And basically, she was run out of there, and I was very disappointed to hear that, because I had gone there as an autistic, and the two co-organizers there were so helpful for me, and in past, as long as the loved ones of autistics were willing to understand that it's first and foremost for autistics, and just let the autistics lead, there wasn't an issue. But again, I don't know both sides of the story, but it doesn't surprise me that it's about this happening, because like I said, there is a lot of conflicts between autistics and non-autistics, neurotypicals. And so I'm going to start off by giving a brief overview of my life story. And I did not get diagnosed with autism until I was 40 years old, 9 years ago. Being raised in the 70s and 80s, very, very few of us got autism diagnosis, and that's because what is now known as high-functioning autism / Asperger's / the DSM-5 did away with the term Asperger's, whatever these stupid labels are, doesn't matter. Me being switched from having Asperger's to ASD level 1 has had absolutely no impact on me. It provides me with no new insight as to who I am. It's just switching out one label for another, and both labels basically mean the same thing, so whatever. But anyways, so like I said, I was raised in the 70s and 80s, and a little extra wild card thrown in there is that I'm also adopted, okay, for reasons that had nothing to do with my autism. And so when it comes down, so even if my adoptive parents, even if this knowledge was available to my adoptive parents, there were alternative explanations for everything that was being observed, okay? Between that and also the fact that I was on powerful anti-seizure medications from the time I was 14 months old until I was about 4.5, when my foster parents took me on a camping trip, forgot my medications, and that they noticed I didn't have any seizures, and because it was believed that the medication was wiping out my development, they talked to the doctor and they agreed to simply take me off the medication. Okay, and so so that was known to my adoptive parents. What was not known to my adoptive parents, because they did not have first-hand access to what happened during the first 2.5 years of my life, okay, is that I was not put on medication until I was actually 14 months old, okay, and I did say my first word when I was 23 months old, okay, so I did actually develop, I was still delayed in my development, but I was developing in spite of my medication, but because, and so basically, it throws all this, so if basically autism was understood, there's a possibility I still might not have gotten the diagnosis because of these, because the explanations that I was having adjustment issues, being with my third set of parents before my 6th birthday, as well as the medications, and so, but in any case, in 3rd grade, I was given an IQ test, and I tested as 140, so at that time, in the 70s, the idea that somebody with 140 IQ could have a learning disability was completely foreign to them, okay? But the fact is, I did, okay? And so a lot of the conflict, that I dealt with growing up, had to do with the fact that I'm too smart to have these problems, okay? But one thing that I understand is that, okay, they didn't understand things like they do today, and so I don't hold it against my parents, my teachers, or anything else like that, because I truly believe that my parents, teachers, and everybody sincerely did what they believed was in my best interest according to the best information that they had at the time. They just did not have the information that they needed at that time to understand who I was. Okay, and so then, so basically, the core of the conflict that I had, the observations that people were making of me at that time, is that I had an immature personality. Okay, and that was, I was acting younger than my age, and one of the theories that they came up with was that, I'm trying to get attention through negative behavior. I'm using negative behavior in order to get attention. Well, the thing is, I thought I was emulating my peers. Okay, but the problem was, by the time that I mastered the latest way to be cool, it was no longer the cool way of being. Now they progressed onto a cooler way of behaving. And so in terms of my social development, it wasn't that I wasn't developing socially. The issue was that I was always playing catch up with my peers in terms of how I'm supposed to behave, and so then once I and this also eventually resulted in me being denied enlistment in the Army when I went and I enlisted, and because I was adopted, they wanted to send me to a psychologist, to make sure everything. And that psychologist official diagnosis of me is that I had a immature personality. Okay, that is what the after sitting with me for maybe a half hour to an hour, that was his conclusion, that I had an immature personality. Again, that's the common denominator of the conflicts, the social conflicts that I was having. So it wasn't just this psychologist; it was everybody was interpreting my behavior as immature. Okay, and so then I graduated from high school, and I went to Phoenix Job Corps, where I learned carpentry, because I wanted to go build orphanages over in the Philippines. That was literally the reason why I wanted to join carpentry. Well, the problem was, okay, I also have motor coordination issues, which means that I'm not able to meet industry standards in terms of work performance. And when you and looking back, this problem could have been spotted all the way back in 3rd grade. Okay, because that's when we were learning the times tables. Okay, and this was the old-fashioned way of doing it, where you actually had to write out the answer. You weren't given multiple choice. You had to write out the answer. You were given a set amount of time to do as many answers as you could, as fast as you could, and I would only get about halfway through the test. Okay, what I did get done was almost 100% accurate. But I just could not write fast enough because I wasn't spending any time really thinking about it. I was just, moving right along, at a good, clean pace. It wasn't hard for me to figure out what the answer was. I just could not write fast enough. 7th grade, it's social studies class. Okay, it was back in the good old-fashioned days when they had something called chalkboards, and you're all old enough to remember what a chalkboard is. Okay, and so our classroom had 2 chalkboards, and so the teacher wrote a bunch of notes on the first chalkboard, and we needed to write them all down. And he wrote a bunch of stuff on the second chalkboard, and we were to write them all down. Then he comes back to the first chalkboard. Has everybody finished writing all this down? I would always say no, because I just could not, I just was not fast enough in being able to write, all that stuff down. And plus, I learned through verbal dialogue, okay? And so I don't learn by listening to somebody and writing a bunch of notes. I learn by engaging in interaction with the teacher. And so that's also part of it, is that I'm listening to the teacher. When I'm listening to the teacher, I'm not writing. Okay, so what happened one day is that the teacher comes back to chalkboard number 1 and says, everybody finished writing this? And I said no, and seriously, it sounded like every single one of my classmates simultaneously went, seriously. And that was the last time I even tried to take notes. Because it's like I was impairing my classmates' ability to learn by being too slow. And so I never attempted to take notes again. And so, which, okay, we're now talking about the 80s, that they didn't understand that people learn differently. Okay, the way you learn is you take all these notes and you take the notes home and you study the notes, and that is how kids learn. That's not how I learn. Okay, and so taking notes is actually a liability, because if I'm focusing on taking notes, I'm not focusing on the speaker. Okay, so that created conflict between me and my teachers, because my teachers thought I was just slacking off in class. Okay, and that was part of me being viewed as being lazy and unmotivated, is because instead of taking notes, I was drawing pictures. Okay, and in the 80s, they that they didn't understand that that different people had different learning styles. And and then going on to 8th grade typing class, I was the slowest typist. So looking at my entire academic history, it's in understanding the minimal expectations of the construction industry, they expect you to perform at a minimal level. If you don't perform at that minimal level, then you're lazy. Okay, there again, there's the assumption that people would make about me, is that I'm just simply lazy. Okay, because if I was a good employee, then certainly I would be able to meet this bare minimal standard of production standard. Okay, same when I went to work with fast foods. Okay, and so in their light, the problem is that the first thing I did was go and get jobs that were the worst jobs for me, that I was the least suited to work. Okay, and so I had vocational struggles, and again, people did not understand that what was going on. Again, leading to a lot of conflicts. Why can't I hold a job? And it's like you just it's like you just need to go out and just get a job and work it. Okay, well, what happens when you lose 6 jobs in 1 year? Which I literally did on 2 separate occasions. Then your future employers are looking at your application like, what's your problem? Why can't you hold these jobs? Okay, and at that point, having too many jobs over a short period of time becomes a liability. And so that was the problem that I had, is that I needed to get the right job, and nobody, included myself, understood that I need not just any job. I needed the right jobs, the jobs that best suited me in my strengths. And after the construction thing fell through, I think I threw in the towel on that in '91. I looked at the possibility of going and being a school teacher, okay? But the problem was, I looked at the requirements, and you need to have at least a 2.5 high school GPA, and so I just assumed, well, then there's nothing I do about it, because rules are rules, and that's all there was to it. Years later, I found out that all I need to do is go to a community college, take my 2 best classes, ace them both, and I can establish a new GPA. It never dawned on me to ask if there was a plan B. I just assumed that, okay, here's the rules, and that's all there is to it, and so yeah, all the things that I wish I knew today, if I would have known back, in the 80s and 90s, my life would have gone a completely different path. But at the same time, that was then, and this is now, and so I did finally get diagnosed with autism. Well, actually, before I move on to that, in the early 90s, I started going to a general purpose 12-step program called New Wine, in which I sat with addicts of every type and worked on codependency. Okay, and at that time I learned social skills, stress management, conflict resolution, and I developed in all these areas. And so then I get diagnosed in 2009, and I go to the autism support group, and I'm sitting with a bunch of people who are struggling in all these areas. Like, well, okay, not a problem. I learned how to deal with this stuff. And they all looked at me like I was a madman, because according to official autism dogma, we're not supposed to be able to manage our stress, okay? Basically, second and third parties, well, we're supposed to be completely dependent upon second and third parties to solve all of our problems and clean up all of our messes, okay? And I said, no, absolutely not, because the fact that I have succeeded in many of these areas. The only 2 areas that I never succeeded at is vocational and getting a wife. Okay, if I would have succeeded vocationally, then it would have been a lot easier getting a wife. But as far as the social skills, and developing socially, well, in spite of everything that I just said, there were places where I was successful at socializing, where I was not bullied. First, Boy Scouts. Okay, problem was I wasn't really interested in all the outdoor stuff, but nevertheless, I was never bullied in Boy Scouts. I was never bullied in league bowling. Okay, and in league bowling, basically, that they have handicaps in order to balance out the weak bowlers, and the stronger bowlers, so level out the playing field. Okay, and I was also never bullied in Sunday school classes. Okay, and then I was not bullied in New Wine. And so what do all these social environments have in common? Okay, 12 people or less. Okay, structured. Okay, and under with the exception of bowling, that they were structured by somebody who was officially in charge. With Boy Scouts, it was the scout leader. Okay, in New Wine, it was so in the smaller environment, in which the responsible authority had the authority to keep the class structured and focused, there was no time for bullying. Okay, and so but the thing is, it's like, well, but they get bullied on the playground. So what? Okay, yes, we need to deal with that. But just because they get bullied on the playground, we get bullied on the playground. That doesn't mean that that is the sole basis for defining us. Okay, well, when we can actually see. Hi, are you here for the autism meeting?
I'm Clinton.
Oh, yeah, long time no see. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Jason, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just coming in to make sure that everything's good. I heard that it was a little bit warm here.
It's fine. It's fine now.
Oh,
Good now?
okay.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Good night.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, is that they get so bent out of shape over these social environments that we don't succeed in because we're fish out of water, while ignoring the fact that, that there are social environments and there are common denominators amongst those social environments. And when you study, what autism is, it makes sense that we would succeed in smaller settings, that are structured, and so anyway, so as far as yes, there is a lot of conflict, as far as between between autistics and the autism organizations that are so focused on our deficits, so focused on how we fail here, and here, to the complete neglect of all of our strengths. Okay, I have on my computer that the original report that Dr. Connor published in 1943 when he coined the term autism. Okay, he had 11 subjects, 8 of which were verbal, 7 of whom showed superior abilities for memorization. Why is that not part of the autism diagnostic criteria? Why is the only thing, when we're talking about getting diagnosed as an autistic, why is the only thing that's looked at is our deficits? Okay, why is it all about our deficits? And so here, on Wednesday, I was actually at a research project in which that they're seeing if mindful meditation improves autistic stress management, stuff like that. And so I was talking to one of the leaders after the meeting about that about what we would be discussing today, and I mentioned that the subject was going to be conflicts between autistics and non-autistics, and this autistic young lady who was sitting there immediately ran away. Yeah, why? Because every time that it's discussed, okay, it is assumed that we're the problem. And I also have on my laptop that the JAN, Jobs Accommodations Network, okay, which is with the Department of Labor. Okay, and it talks about, in this series is, suggests job accommodations for people with different disabilities. Okay, and they have one for autism. Okay, and I can show you, on there where it talks about conflicts. Every single point assumes that the autistic is at fault. Okay, never does they say that you need to teach the autistic to assess the situation. Figure out, okay, what was their fault, what was not their fault. That they teach the autistic to pay attention to the fact that, is everybody else having these problems with this same employee? Okay, maybe the autistic isn't the problem. Maybe this employee is a jerk. Okay, that happens. Okay, that is not brought up at all. Nothing in the JAN, and again, I can show you this. That in the JANs, what was made, that the people that actually wrote it were led by the 3 major autism organizations: Autism Speaks, Autism Society of America, and the National Autism Association. The 3 leading authorities on autism. Okay, and when they talked about conflict in the workplace, everything they said suggested that the autistic is always at fault. Okay, and so yes, there's a lot of conflict also between us and these autism organizations because of what they're disseminating in our name, that they have appointed themselves as our representatives without our consultation or consent, giving us no say in how autism is presented to the public, nor how the money is spent in terms of services and research. Okay, and so this is another aspect of conflict, that is in the autism community, and I'm going to be addressing that in length next month. Okay, these autism organizations have had 6 years to show us respect, 6 years to listen to us and allow us to explain, in a diplomatic manner, what's the specific issues are. Next month is going to be their last chance to accept an olive branch. If they refuse to show up, basically I'm going nuclear on them. I am going to give a itemized list of how they have treated the autistic self-advocacy community, okay, as well as retaliation that they've done against me personally for speaking out against them. And so, and enough is enough. We tried playing nice, and at some point in time, you have to realize that they do not respect us enough to even sit down and talk to us about what specific issues we have with what they're saying about us, and how what they're saying about us is harming us, because right now with my autism diagnosis, I have a far lower quality of life than before my diagnosis, because before I got my diagnosis, I was a volunteer Sunday school teacher. I was a volunteer English teacher. I did all kinds of volunteer work that I now can't do because I'm autistic. I have a social deficit.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and I am denied the opportunity to volunteer to prove that I can work with people because of and I will go into detail about what all I tried to do since I got my label, what I did before I got my label, all the volunteerism I was given the opportunity to do before I got my label, as well as everything that I've been denied the opportunity to do since I got my label. And that is Exhibit A. And so, anyways, so I wasn't sure if I was going to be bringing that up quite this soon, because in fact, no, I don't want to have a war with them. But at the same time, how long do you go being shown complete disrespect by a group of people who will not talk to you about your grievances before you finally, you say enough is enough? But anyway, so does anybody want to chime in on anything that I've said, or talk about your personal experience? Because we do have two autistic husbands with their non-autistic spouses here, and so would you like to comment on anything I said, or just talk about your own situation?
My employer knows I'm different, but I never brought up the fact that I'm autistic because I thought it might work against me as
right
in my employment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is that that you can't actually hide that there's something different about you. Everybody's going to know that there's something different about you. Mm-hmm. The question is, what assumptions are they going to make about people that behave the way that you're behaving? Okay, and hopefully your current employer isn't making as bad assumptions as others might make, But last year I was talking about getting autistics jobs and off-public assistance. We had this gentleman in here. He was they used to call them assistant teachers. Now they have a fancier term, paraprofessional. Okay, working with special ed children. And he was trying to hide his autistic diagnosis from teachers who were trained to spot it from a mile away.
Right.
Okay, he had confided in the principal. Okay, and so, but the thing is, she was sworn to confidentiality. So here's what I suspect would be happening, is that these teachers who got a pretty good idea what's going on is going to the principal to complain, and the principal can't defend him because the only way she could defend him is by violating his confidentiality by telling them what they already know, that he's autistic. And that's the thing, is that self-disclosure should liberate us. It should not lead to discrimination, it should lead to liberation. Okay, but the fact is, as I've already stated, it has led to discrimination for me, and has also led to discrimination for other autistics that I've talked to.
I think that when you disclose to your employer that you have autism, they get concerned about, liability. Is this going to cost us money if there's an accident or something, some mishap? So you know, what do we do with this individual, you know? And so I just always felt maybe
Yeah.
it's better not
Yeah.
to disclose that.
Have you been actually diagnosed?
You know.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, where Steve hasn't.
I was originally diagnosed with ADD,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to the Med Center. I was going there, and one of the psychologists there, you know, sent me through a battery of tests and said, well, you know, you have ADD, which is, I guess it's a comorbidity that goes along with Asperger's. And,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Since you got diagnosed, does that make you feel any different?
it helps me understand why I have some of these quirks about myself.
yeah. And initially, I had that same reaction, okay? You know, I sat under a couple of brilliant ladies, one, Sue Galbach, a now retired occupational therapist, and Carl Marshall, who's a speech-language pathology assistant, both of whom are also autistic, and so they understood autism from both a personal and professional point of view. So yes, initially, I had that same reaction. Fortunately for you, you have a job. Okay, and so as long as you've got the right job, you can keep that job. You don't have you're not gonna have to deal with the issues that I'm having to deal with. Is that okay? I haven't worked for 9 years, and the 20 years prior to that, my work history was horrendous. Okay, and so I've since gotten become certified as a recovery peer support specialist. Okay, that means that I can work professionally. With people with addictions and or mental health issues, who go to Magellan or any of these mental health facilities. Okay, there's a little problem. It's called these computer algorithms that throw out your resume if it doesn't look right. And what doesn't look right about my resume? No job in 9 years.
Yeah.
And how do I circumvent that?
You were in school.
For 2 weeks.
No, you were in school.
Well, yeah, but that they don't.
You were taking care of a loved one.
Well, but seriously, what I've been thinking about doing is creating a fake resume to submit online that will get through the
Right.
the nonsense, the computer algorithm. Then once I go to the actual interview, I'll give them my real resume and explain why I had to go this route just to get somebody to talk to me.
Yeah.
See, I've done the same job 32 years with, same job with a couple different companies.
Right.
Owners of the company.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I've just learned to do certain things, you know, dress right dress, have my little,
Right.
you know, boxes I check, you know, all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, which has worked for me.
Yeah.
And I've been successful.
Right.
But, yeah, I do some things that my peers
Mm-hmm.
and my colleagues don't,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to do my job.
Mhm.
I got like, you know, just little
Yeah. Well,
different things.
yeah.
that-
Mind if I ask what kind of job you have?
I'm a service advisor for Mercedes-Benz.
Okay. And so, and so what exactly does that involve as far as your job duties?
I'm the guy you talk to when you bring your car in for service.
Mm-hmm.
I write down what you're wanting done on your car, what problems you have,
Mhm.
transfer that information on paper to the technician,
Mhm.
who then diagnoses,
Right.
gets to me, and then I call you back and say,
Yeah.
this is the answer to your problem.
Right, and so basically, your job is very structured as far as okay, there are basic principles of how a car runs, and as long as you understand those basic principles, okay, you're able to, take the reports and everything like that, and so, I might try a job like that. The thing is, I'm not mechanically inclined, so you might have to spend a lot longer training me to do that job than it'd take you. If you're mechanically inclined, that it might take them, 1 day to train you, how to do that job, whereas it might take a month to train me, because I'm not mechanically inclined. So it's great you found the right job. I wish I would have found the right job when I came out of high school, but yeah,
That's why I said that.
Yeah.
I think I did.
yeah,
You
mhm,
know,
and that's
I was
great.
very fortunate.
Yes, and,
As far as that goes.
yeah, Sue Golubach, like I said, she's an occupation, or a now retired occupational therapist. She did not get diagnosed till she was 50, okay? And she's had this job, until she retired, for 40 years or however long it was, okay, because she found the right job, okay? And you mind if I ask what job you have?
I'm an electrician and I work for the city of Phoenix in the traffic signal division.
Okay,
When I first started working for the city of Phoenix, I was a glorified pothole fella. I'd go out, do jackhammering and shoveling and stuff like that. But they have an excellent program of hiring and promoting from within, and they have educational benefits. I went to school at Gateway Community and
mhm,
studied electrical technology and advanced in my career through that,
mhm. So, okay, so what do you do today? What specifically, is your job description today?
I do utility location, which means I go out to a job site of which we have over 1,000 traffic
Mhm.
signals in the city of Phoenix.
That's all?
And yeah, over 1,000. And I mark out where the underground conduits are
Right.
on the street. I hook up a radio transmitter and then I have a receiver and
Yeah.
I mark red paint all
Mhm.
around the intersection.
So your brain is engaged the entire time?
Yeah, I have
You know-
to avoid traffic, so I
Yeah.
don't get run over and,
Yeah.
and have to use
Yeah.
precautions,
And
I
so-
don't get hurt.
Yeah, and so it sounds like, as far as your motor coordination,
Yeah.
maybe you didn't have as severe, as I did. Years ago, a fellow autistic was helping me put together this book cabinet for this elderly neighbor of mine. Okay, so we got everything, put together, and so we're putting on the back cover. Okay, so he took one row of screws, I took another row of screws. By the time I finished tightening my first screw, he was starting his third. Okay, that is a side-by-side comparison of how bad my motor coordination is compared to a fellow autistic. Okay, so this isn't, every autistic has this issue, but I have it big time.
When my son and I, when he was little, we went to a father-son with
Right.
some other kids, kick soccer game, or
Okay.
kickball game. And I remember they wanted the dads to get involved, and I'd go up there and I kicked 3 times at the ball, and I missed it 3 times.
Yeah.
I was never good with competitive sports. I wasn't coordinated.
Mhm.
I tried tennis. I could never get the ball to get the right direction.
Mhm.
Baseball, I'd always miss the ball. I mean, yeah.
I have never succeeded in hitting the ball past the pitcher. Yes, I am 0 for 1,000 or whatever it is lifetime. However, in high school, I had a 1,000 on base percentage because me being 6'3", no underhand softball, and the girls always had to be allowed to pitch. That they would overcompensate for how tall I was, and the ball was literally this far over my head
wow.
when it came over the plate. So I just put my bat on my shoulder, just took my 4 balls, and then took first base. I never even tried to swing for them, but
See, I'm exactly opposite. I
Yeah.
was very athletic
mhm,
and succeeded in
right, mhm,
baseball, football, and wrestling.
right,
But one thing I'm listening to
right,
is he mentioned, yes, he did have a discussion with his employer that he has this.
right, mhm.
I
No,
see
he didn't.
No.
That there's something different,
Okay.
but he doesn't know what that difference
They
is.
just think he's a nerd.
But you have been clinically diagnosed.
But
See,
he
I don't
doesn't
see-
share that.
I don't see there's any benefit in being clinically diagnosed at 62.
Mhm. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm willing to admit, okay, I have it.
yeah, it's that there's and most of the people, that discover, make this discovery, around, your age, come to the same conclusion.
Really?
Okay, what is it actually going to benefit me
Yeah,
to
I
get
mean,
an official
I
diagnosis?
can't think of one.
Yeah, because right now you've got the right job that you can hold until you retire. Okay, so there's no reason for you to apply for any kind of disability benefits that there's no reason for.
Yeah.
You're not going to go, for more training for a new career that you'd retire from in 2 years afterwards.
Right.
So as far as if for your own peace of mind you wanted it, that would be the only reason why. You might find a need is if you simply want absolute confirmation that that you have autism, then that would be the only reason why I would see somebody like you going for an official diagnosis, which is going to cost money.
Mm-hmm. Insurance doesn't cover it.
Really?
Not ours.
So yeah, I fully understand your position, and in a lot of autistics, especially after they come to our meeting and find out that those who do get diagnoses don't get any worthwhile help. Basically I'm still trapped on SSDI, but beyond that, what are they actually getting?
So you even mentioned in yourself, I was able to do all these things before I was labeled.
Right.
Now that I'm labeled, I can't.
Right, because nobody will give me a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and that's the whole thing. And yes, I could try to hide my diagnosis, but there's one problem. Somewhere along the line, somebody's going to ask me, what's my job?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a standard question that guys ask other guys. That's just an icebreaker. That's a standard icebreaker.
Yeah.
At that point, so as long as I'm not working, either I self-disclose or I try to hide it, then they're really going to wonder, what kind of a deadbeat I am, that I don't have a job. And all the assumptions that they would make about me for not having a job for no good reason, because right now, you're not seeing any deficits in me in this kind of social environment. In a Sunday school class, I am very knowledgeable about the Bible. You will not see any social deficits in me in a Sunday school class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if somebody, in my Sunday school class, asks me what's my job, and month after month I don't have a job, what are they going to think?
But if you have an income and you have your volunteer work, is the job really that important? I mean, you have an income.
If I had volunteer work.
Okay.
But this is your job now.
But he doesn't get paid.
Right.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, this is something I do once a month. Okay, and so yeah, I work 1 day a month. And so yeah, yeah. How do I break out of this trap that I'm in? I went on SSDI believing that it was just going to give me a timeout. 2009, the economy was a wreck.
Yeah.
Okay, and I needed a breather. I was going down fast. If it wasn't for my mom and stepdad, I would have been homeless again. Okay, and the diagnosis was supposed to give me a breathing room, understand myself, and then go out and get back in the workforce. That's not what happened. I learned who I was and how to and understand myself, but the problem is, again, you get back to how autism is presented to the public, okay? And like you said, the employer's going to look at all these liability issues. There are no liability issues with me, okay? Any issues that some autistics might have that might make them a liability, I don't have those issues, okay? And to deny me the opportunity for employment due to issues that some autistics have that I don't have, that's my situation.
What do you think the right job for you is?
Well, first and foremost, one that's going to engage my brain. But basically, I'm a natural teacher. Okay, I love to absorb knowledge, assess that knowledge, and then present it to other people. Okay, so anything that involves me, teaching other people. That's the reason why I went to get peer support certified. Okay, is because I would be acting as a peer, somebody else with a mental health issue, which that's what autism is. It's a mental health issue. It's not a mental illness. There's a difference. Don't ask me to explain the difference. but there's a difference between mental, all mental illnesses are mental health issues, but not all mental health issues are mental illnesses. Okay, so anyways, and so that's one of the reasons why why I wanted to go that route. I also wanted to go the route of being a special ed, not assistant teacher, but a paraprofessional with a special ed class. Something that I did back in high school. I went to Mesa High, and back then all the children with special needs was bused to a school called Parkway Elementary, okay, which was right across the playground diamonds, baseball diamonds, was Parkway Elementary. So they had an arrangement with Mesa High for a participant in community program where we would volunteer one class period a day to go and assist with the in the classrooms, okay, and so what I did back in 2013 was I signed up as a volunteer to work at an elementary school that was right up the street from where I live. Okay, and I explained exactly what my goal was to start off as a volunteer to demonstrate that I can work with special ed children, so I could then go and get whatever certifications would be necessary in order to become a paraprofessional. Okay, and so initially they started me off, being a library assistant, like, okay, they wanted to observe me before putting me with kids. It made sense, okay? I had no objections to that, okay? But there comes a point in time, it's like, okay, when can we talk about me, volunteering some time in the classroom? Oh, now's not a good time because of this excuse. Okay, a few months later. Oh, now's not a good time because of this excuse. A few months later. Now's not a good time because of this excuse. Okay, so now the next school year comes around, and guess what? The calendar is back to these same, times, and so now all these same excuses can now start rotating back in. It's like, okay, at what point in time, does it become clear that they're not going to give me a chance? Okay, that there is absolutely nothing that I can do to get them to give me a chance to prove that I can work with children. So if I do go and get the college loan and all that financing to get an associate's degree, okay, so I can work, I go get the associate's degree, then I can't use it, and that's.
What about autism schools?
I tried applying for one of those on Northern 19th Avenue. They wouldn't hire me. So, as far as, I'm not sure, how many schools there are but that's, conveniently located for me. But that's, so yes, I have tried that route, and like you said, there is more than one. So I could try, looking into other ones, but nevertheless, they're going to have, some academic requirements as well. And so,
Well, of course they are, but
yeah,
you have a better chance, I would
yeah,
think.
and so what I did was I wanted to volunteer, at that school, in order to demonstrate, but they wouldn't allow me to volunteer.
Why?
Well, they said, well, we don't want people to be. That some song and dance about how if you're going to work here, then we want to pay you, which is bogus. Nobody turns down volunteer help. Period. Because volunteers, a good volunteer, can really, until I got my label. Once I got my label, everybody's turning down my request, my offer to volunteer. Before I got my label, anybody would allow me to volunteer as long as I do background check and stuff like that. But again, once I get my label, nobody wants me even as a volunteer.
Don't disclose your label.
Yeah.
I've been unemployed for 9 years. How do I explain that? How do I explain that I'm even available to volunteer?
You gotta be creative, friend.
And that's the whole thing. Yeah. So what I need to do is boldface lie on my
You
resume.
shouldn't have to, but it's,
Yeah. And that's the situation. I have to come up with a fake resume,
Yeah.
to satisfy the computer algorithm, and then hope that the interviewer understands why I did that when I show up and give them my real resume that presents me as somebody completely different than what my than the fake resume that I sent them earlier. That is the situation that I'm in.
Well, you know, I think a lot of the problem is that there's just no communication.
Yeah.
There's no education. I mean, even in the relationship that we have, the communication is not good. We try,
Mm-hmm.
but my brain doesn't comprehend what his brain is thinking, and my brain wants to comprehend what he's saying, but
Right.
if he doesn't explain it to me, I have no idea how to
Mhm.
process it. So communication is
Yeah.
kind of key in everything that we do.
It is.
Yeah. Well, would you be willing to give a little bit more detail as far as what you mean by, okay, his brain's different than yours? Would you elaborate a
He
little bit?
processes things a little differently than I do.
Well,
And
okay, well, how is it
I'm
different?
prefacing.
Yeah.
So here we go. I could say to him, oh, I love you more than the whole wide world. Now, any neurotypical would be expecting to hear that back,
Mm-hmm.
or something similar, or something to the effect, oh, honey, that's so sweet. But I know he hears me, and I
Mhm.
know he values what I'm saying,
Right.
but nothing comes out. So I'm just left like, okay, I'm a schlep, you know? Because it has not been conveyed back to me.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean, I know he feels it.
Right.
I know that he processes things differently. But in order for me to be able to come to that, I need to know it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the communication is not good.
Okay. Well, would you like to tell your wife exactly what what the actual thoughts in your head at the time she says something like that to you? Would you?
Well, I don't know, I've always been the thought that, you know, if somebody says something, that's a statement. If they ask you a question, well then, yeah, you answer their question, but if it's not a question, why do you need to make a response?
Okay.
I think, and that's good
Yeah.
that he's saying that
Yeah.
to me, which he
And
has
Steve does
said
the
it.
same thing.
Which he has told me that before.
Mm-hmm.
But when I express something,
Mm-hmm.
I expect to get that answer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm telling you I expect that answer. So why can't you just give me the answer?
Right.
that
Because
I'm
you're not
looking
asking
for?
a question, you're making
But
a statement.
but see, we've already discussed the
Yeah.
fact that because it was not presented in question form,
Right.
doesn't mean it doesn't require an answer
Right.
in the neurotypical world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the issue that is going on is that as a neurotypical, we make, well, some of us don't. I don't know, I
Right.
can't speak for the world, I can speak
Right.
for me.
Yes.
We make allowances for that difference.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I go above and beyond
Mm-hmm.
to try to educate myself about this issue, or whatever
Right.
you call it.
Right.
Okay, I try to educate myself about it, but I'm a little bit, honestly, a hard ass,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe no matter what symptoms or syndrome or whatever you have, there has to be accountability.
Yeah. Okay.
And it seems like a lot of people that I've met who are Asperger's
Yeah.
syndrome people
Yeah. Mhm.
use it as an excuse to get away with being an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I completely agree with you on that. A lot of people do.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
and it's detrimental to me because the fact that I don't use it as a get out
right,
jail free
and
card.
I'm
Right.
not saying that
Yeah.
everybody does it, but
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
I've used my fat to get out of situations. Or I've used my age, or I've used a bum knee. I've used whatever I can to get out of something that I don't want to deal with.
Right. Yeah.
So it doesn't, I mean, it's not, I'm being completely honest,
Yeah,
it's
mhm.
not about, and I have to suffer the consequence for that.
Right.
But people make excuses.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's got Asperger's, it's
Yeah.
okay. Bullshit, it's not okay.
It's
Yeah.
not okay.
You need to be held accountable.
Yeah, and so yeah, I agree with you. That years ago that there was this younger than me lady who started her own autism group over on the west side, and she invited me to one of her church singles group events, and I was actually upset at how how her singles group viewed her, because I really thought that they weren't really all that loving and trying to understand her. But within 2 weeks, I understood why. Okay, she was a manipulator. Okay, it had nothing to do with her autism.
Something else.
Yeah, she wanted to be in control, and she used her autism as a weapon to gain control, and that is not unique to autistics. Like I said, I went to a 12-step program,
Yep.
and there are a lot of people that don't have a bit of autism in them that are just as manipulative.
Right.
You
And
know,
I think there's a
as
lot
her-
of other things that come in play
Right.
with autism,
So,
like the ADHD.
yeah,
And upbringing.
yeah,
And
right,
upbringing
Some of
is
it is
huge.
learned,
Right.
yeah, it's learned.
yeah,
So there's a lot of other things that go with that everybody's lumping
Yeah.
into the whole Asperger thing.
I was raised by wolves.
what was that?
I was raised by wolves.
Okay, Mowgli. This is a real Jungle Book dude.
Uh-huh.
So, so that, like, as a neurotypical, you're like, see this behavior, and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah,
Homeboy got an issue, and it's
Yeah.
not Asperger's, it's something else.
yeah. Well, okay. Now, as far as me, okay, actually, and I've already clued you in on the fact that I'm very analytical, okay? And,
Used to.
right. And,
Those two.
yeah, and what can happen,
I had to throw you under
Yeah.
the bus there.
yeah, okay. and what can happen is what's my sponsor referred to as paralysis by analysis.
Uh-huh.
Okay, where completely overanalyzing something. Okay, and in emotional situations, okay, sometimes I'm so afraid that I'm going to say something wrong that I won't say anything at all.
Amen.
Okay,
That seems to be the general consensus
yeah,
here.
and so
Silence is
it,
golden.
yeah.
No, it's not.
It depends.
It's
Yeah,
both.
it varies from situation to situation. Sometimes silence is golden.
I'd rather have some comment.
And say the wrong thing and let
Yeah.
you rip your head
Yeah.
off and let's be done with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Well-
Say something.
yeah.
During my peer support training, we were talking about the issue of, okay, I could have a female peer that I might be working with, okay, and some of these ladies may have some very serious issues, rape, sexual assault, and all kinds of issues, okay, and I sat in group with ladies like that, and I kept my mouth shut. Okay, and I
That
just,
might be a good idea.
yeah, and I just let the other ladies.
Why are you in a group like that?
Well, like I said, it was a general purpose 12-step program. Okay, and so people had every range of issue. They weren't there specifically for sexual abuse, but sexual abuse was something. They didn't go into detail, obviously, because it would not be appropriate. But nevertheless, it is a factor in affecting their view of the world, especially of men. So yeah, but anyway, so it's not like it came up every night, but when it did come up, and when they were talking about these issues, I just kept my mouth shut and let the ladies, but I was listening in, so I understand the issues, but at this, and I understand them well enough that I'm scared to say anything, because I know that anything that I say could either help or completely blow up in my face.
Well,
And, as a man.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
This is an analogy.
right.
Let's say, for instance, Jim accidentally steps on my toes, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when he says he's sorry, does that mean tomorrow he's going to step on my toes again? No.
Right.
When you say you're sorry, you acknowledge something, you say you're sorry. Sorry means you're not going to do it again.
Thank you.
Okay? However, when it comes to communication,
Yeah.
if I specifically tell him, honey, I don't like it when you do that. Couldn't be any clearer than the
Right.
nose on your face. Tomorrow it will happen again.
Yes, 7 years.
But the thing is, okay, are you asking him to do something that is 100% contrary to what comes natural to him? Again, it comes down to recognizing the intent. Is it his intent to show you contempt by ignoring, these issues that you brought up, or is he so programmed to do things a certain way that that's basically you're trying to make a cat act like a dog?
Isn't there a third question there? Is there a possibility that they just don't care?
I
There
think
is
that's always a possibility.
there's that possibility. I don't know
I
these
mean,
two
that's how
gentlemen.
I feel. I feel like at
Yeah.
times, we talk about safety issues, house rules, these
Yeah.
are not big deals.
Right.
We should be off these subjects in 7 years, we should be moving on to an adult marriage, we don't have children,
Mhm.
so we have a lot of freedom.
Right.
But we're still on the same subject. We can't get to the real marriage.
But sometimes those little things like that, I will tell you, I mean, you've been longer than me, but I will tell you, some of that stuff, you gotta let it go.
I've let so much go.
Yeah.
I've let so much go to the point where I'm not even sure who I am. I have friends
Mhm.
saying to me, who are you anymore? And I know I may know. I know I'm,
I think a lot of what she's talking about is my upbringing opposed to her upbringing.
Right.
But
well, they're not
that's
in the
not
house
a-
anymore.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let him finish. Go ahead.
My upbringing, the way I learned, did do things and that kind of stuff are completely different from hers. So,
Mhm. Oh,
we're
okay.
living her life.
Well, okay, would you be willing to give an example? Or would you be willing to give?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, she's really.
Um,
Probably think.
Okay, so
Okay.
rinse, okay, you ate something. I don't ask him to wash it. If he does, great. If he doesn't, that's fine. Rinse it out, so
Mhm.
the food doesn't stick, and I don't
Right.
have to scrub it out. How hard is
Trash,
this?
I don't care.
I know,
Yeah.
well, but I mean, this is not hard, and
Mhm.
we go over this repeatedly.
Right.
I think we just need to get over this crap so we can have a marriage, so we can have a life, we can do something, we can have fun, we can laugh.
Mhm.
Communication is huge. We have major issues with communication.
Right.
He's really good at information gathering.
Right.
I'm in the northeast corner, like, that is not the story. It's the story. But he's good at giving me the information, but not the
Yeah.
feeling.
Oh, okay, so let's focus on the first issue that you brought up. Okay, you're not rinsing out the dishes. Would you like to respond to that?
I do what I think is rinsing off the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying, yeah, I'll wash them afterwards. Well, her idea of rinsing them off is washing them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
To more degree than me.
Right.
I kind of think that's more like a man thing versus an Asperger thing.
No, but on her, but on
Yeah.
her behalf,
Yeah.
yes, we've been going through this so long.
It's not just the dish,
Yeah.
it's just stuff.
Well, okay.
That's the example.
Yeah, that's one example, but I actually I've had more than one roommate, okay, that's, like you said, rinsing off means washing, and so there are some, that's not a gender specific, that is, a lot to do with upbringing, okay, and so, yeah, it's tough, part, because I've never been to your house, and that's something, that yeah, it's, that, and that does sound like a trivial issue, but the thing is, enough trivial issues basically
Amen.
that add up,
They add up.
and so, and so, is there a trivial issue that you have had success in? That as far as coming to a mutual agreement, a mutual understanding, so that way you're both on the same page. Or any issue. Can you think of one that was an issue that you have succeeded in resolving to a satisfactory level? You're able to successfully compromise a solution.
I think so.
Okay.
For example, he's got 3 kids from the prior marriage.
Okay.
In the past, the kids don't like me. In the
Right.
past, he would get together with the kids, and the kids would always say, "Where's Sada?" Well, it's not because they miss me.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, whatever. They're
Yeah,
just doing
okay.
they're teenage, they're young.
Yeah, okay.
And he'd say, well, she didn't want to come.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I know,
Let's be
Well,
honest.
but do you see what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they're honest.
Yeah.
To a fault.
Yeah, and then, so then he'd say he's honest. Well, there's certain things that you just
Right.
word differently. Other
Right.
times when he should be honest, I'm catching him
Mm.
like right in the act.
Mhm.
I'm like, don't do that, I didn't do that. You're doing it. Now, he'll lie about that, but he won't lie why I didn't come to your house for dinner.
Okay, well,
So he doesn't do that
Yeah.
anymore when he gets
Oh,
together with
okay.
the kids. He
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
say
good.
she didn't want to come.
yeah,
He just doesn't say anything, I don't think.
yeah, you know, that, and that's something, yeah, it's.
But see, that made them dislike me over
Yeah.
the years.
Yeah, I have an autistic friend. I hate to want to say that he's lower functioning. Technically, he was diagnosed with Asperger's, mild Asperger's, you know, and I'm like, yeah. But anyways, bottom line is, you know, he actually has caused quite a bit of problems by telling person A that person B, you know, said this about them,
About-
and it's like,
Hate that stuff.
yeah, that's, you know, and he meant well, you know, he's trying to be a peacemaker,
Right.
but that is not how you go about bringing peace, you know, between conflicted parties, you know,
Yeah.
and so, and I know he's well-meaning, okay, you know, he's trying.
That's the sad part.
Yeah, you know, it is, you know, he's got two friends, he wants his friends to get along, and it does, it causes him stress, when two of his friends,
Well, that's exactly
Yeah.
the word. I mean, yes, I want my kids to get along.
Right.
with her and,
Right.
you know, us and that kind of thing, and, yeah, it causes stress.
Right.
You know, there's, you know, it's stress between us.
Yeah.
You know, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
You know, but, yeah, I guess at a certain point, you just kind of come to a conclusion that
Yeah.
that may never happen.
Yeah, and sometimes what'll happen with me is when I'm under stress about some situation, I just want it to end, I want it to end now, so I'll say whatever it takes in order to just drop the subject and
Make it go away.
and so, yeah, just make it go away, you know, and so, and that's not just an autistic thing, but I do,
Yeah.
but we may be more susceptible to that because we do have, we're susceptible to a lot more stress because of specific deficits that are common amongst autistics, okay, which causes us to struggle at things that everybody else has no problems with. Okay, what's your problem? And so, yeah, so that causes more stress, and so I would think that we're more prone to doing that, but it certainly isn't unique to autistics that just end the
Yeah,
problem.
it
Just,
shuts down.
yeah, and so,
And so then I would like to find some tool to help me understand what his processes are in his
Right.
brain, so that I can appropriately respond to that.
Yeah.
But on the same token, being neurotypical, I'm willing to take the responsibility of making our relationship a lasting, loving relationship. However, I believe there needs to be some
Yeah.
responsibility on the other side
Yeah.
to try to understand how my brain works.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in his world, it's his world.
Yeah.
His autism world. But unfortunately, this world is bigger with neurotypicals.
yeah, okay, well, okay, I would correct you on one thing.
Go ahead.
No, it's not your responsibility as a neurotypical to make it work. Yeah, no, yeah, you are a partner in a marital relationship, neurotypical or not.
Right, but
Okay.
now we've come to this.
Right, and so I'm just wanting to clarify that
Sure.
when it comes to making the relationship work, it's not an autistic versus neurotypical thing.
It kind of is.
Well, there are specific issues, but as far as the commitment itself isn't autistic versus neurotypical, okay? just because it seems like, you know, your husband, you know, isn't connecting, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not trying, because what I'm hearing from both of these husbands is that they're at least trying, okay? They may not be succeeding, you know,
Yeah, I
to
don't
the
see
level.
that. I don't see that.
Okay.
When the fetal position comes into play, that is not trying to communicate. Sorry.
Oh, okay,
He doesn't say anything. And then guess what happens?
Mhm.
It gets bigger and
And then we
bigger.
blow
and
up.
Bigger, and
Oh.
then it's a screaming match, and then it's me trying to go figure out ways I can kill myself in front of him. I mean, it gets ugly. It gets really ugly. I'm
Okay.
an old Southern girl, so it gets really
Okay.
ugly.
Oh, I love it. I love
okay.
Southern girls.
Would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, I guess it's always been my personality. I prefer to avoid emotional conflict.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel well with
Right. So,
Now, see, I think I was raised more that way,
You
mhm.
were, not to get involved.
not to get involved.
Mhm.
You know, and I don't know that it's the Asperger's. I mean,
Yeah.
I just think I
Well,
was raised that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, well, yeah, you,
Where she,
yeah,
Okay, don't say the
Oh.
term.
they
We do know.
they'll discuss anything for
Yeah.
great lengths of time,
yeah,
and maybe because I'm ASCII, I don't see the good in it, or
Mhm.
the purpose in some of the stuff.
right,
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I'm not
granted,
saying all it is.
granted, there are things that now I wish I could discuss,
right,
but it gets all locked up.
And that's a problem because women love to hear the thought. I mean,
mhm,
if, you
Learn to
know,
communication.
even if he were to say, honey, I hear you, I need to process this, can we just let it go for right now?
right,
It's an answer,
right,
you know,
Mhm.
it's not, maybe not the answer, but
right,
it's an answer. And it is welcome, honey,
right,
just so that I feel acknowledged
yeah.
rather than ignored.
Yeah, and so, okay, yeah, so yes, well, we're dealing with a lot of, you know, complicated issues, okay? And worst of all is both parties are seeing it as very simple, but it's not. And you know, like I said at the beginning, you know, as far as, you know, actually working these issues out, you know, this isn't the ideal, you know, format to use. However, you know, one of the things that I have been wanting to do is to use a modification of the new wine format, okay? And what that would involve is us meeting weekly, okay? And what we would start off with what's called a check-in, you know, where a 3-minute check-in where everybody, you know, gives a brief report of their week of how things went, and then from there, you know, we can figure out who needs to talk the most. Okay. Now, one of the things is at New Wine we split up, you know, married couples, so that way, you know, their issues, you know, wouldn't hijack the group. But what we have here is, I would be starting off with a pair of married couples. So, you know, we would have to be flexible in figuring out how to come up with a format that would be most effective. But if you'd be willing, you know, to do that, because yeah, right now, you know, yes, everybody's just pulling issues out of the air that might have happened 10 years ago or 5 minutes ago. Okay, and the way that I learned to overcome codependency and to develop social skills is, okay, what is the current issue? Okay, let's talk about the current issue. Okay, how could I have handled that situation better?
Right.
Okay, and then when that issue comes up again, I can then, hopefully, I can make progress in handling it better. You wanting to say something?
Well, not to change the subject,
Right.
but something that's just been going through my mind, and I listened to him say something that kind of leads me to it, and then.
Okay.
I want to ask you something, because, okay, you do this once a month.
Right.
Do you prepare all month long for this? Because
yeah.
to me, that sounds,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say amazing,
Yeah.
because
Well,
I
yeah.
I wouldn't spend that much time
Yeah, well,
doing something that I do
yeah.
once a month. But-
well, actually, most of the time it does not, okay? In fact, I only decided to do this specific topic on, well, when did we talk? Well, what day this
Oh
past
gosh,
week?
it was Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday, yeah. And so yeah, I definitely didn't spend the entire month, planning this. In fact, I have no notes in front of me, it's so, this has basically been ad lib off the top of my head.
In the time that you do use
Right.
to prepare for it, does that relieve stress for you?
What it does is it allows me to do what I was meant to do, which is to compile information, okay, to do research, because there's a lot of research involved with a lot of my topics, okay, to do the research, and it just fully engages my brain. So it's definitely not stressful for me, okay, but,
So your research is on the internet?
This particular topic, no, well, basically, like I said, I have no notes, basically, it's stuff that I learned in New Wine, stuff that I've learned from Sue and Tara, and so basically, 90% of my research has already been done, okay? A lot of it is just repackaging, a lot of this information to, fit the next topic, it varies, and most of the information, by the time that I want to do a teaching on it, I've already pretty well got all the information just
Yeah.
running around my brain, and I just need to put it down on a Word document in order to organize all this stuff that's running around here.
Right.
You know.
Well, Jason, I do want to say one thing before
Mhm.
we're going to conclude probably soon. Because I brought up the whole subject of communication.
Right,
That was meant to come out in a good light.
yeah,
There are more things about this man that I love than I don't love.
right,
And I will say, a lot of the things I do love about him are his ASCII things.
Mhm.
And I just cannot imagine my life without him
Mhm.
from one day to the other, even with the issues.
Yeah.
But having said that, women like me and
Yeah.
her, we do need to find a place, not to bitch and complain about our
Where we're
husbands,
safe.
but
Right.
to celebrate our relationships
Yeah.
and to be able to discuss, daily things that we go through,
right,
just to have that venue to just blow off some steam.
right,
But not in a
Not a
loving,
bitch
in a
session.
loving
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just want to make that clear, that I can't even imagine myself in a relationship with a neurotypical.
Yeah.
They're so boring.
Well, give an example of an aspect of his aspiism that you really like.
That I really like.
Yeah.
I like that he has useless facts, useless information, because I have useless information. I
Well,
wonder if I'm one.
If my mom was here right now, she would be totally in with you on that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the whole idea that he's very calm and loving and
Okay,
He
I'm
just-
gonna
he just-
vote for the calm.
Mhm.
over. It's like everything, all the ugliness just goes over his head.
Mhm.
And I'm like, how the hell do you do that?
Mhm.
It's exasperating for you, I know.
I know.
It is, it really is.
Well, would you like to give an example?
Things like that do go over his head.
Yeah.
People say mean things or rude things or weird looks, and I'm ready to kill.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna kill the ones I love. I'm gonna
Yeah.
protect them, you
Yeah.
know? And he doesn't notice. His kids are disrespectful. He doesn't bother him. I guess he's good because maybe I don't bother him as
Well,
much as I would bother someone
yeah.
else. I
Well,
don't know, but I will
Yeah.
say, we've been together for 7 years. I don't know
Yeah.
how long you all been
Almost
together.
2 years.
Okay. At the
Yeah.
3-4 year, I was willing to learn more and research more. I'm at the point right now where I'm just like, I'm done. You meet me.
Yeah.
You meet me somewhere. I don't care where, around the corner, in the alley, but meet me because I am tired.
yeah.
I have that total Cassandra syndrome.
Cassandra syndrome?
Have you heard of it?
No.
With people that are married to Aspies, especially women that are married to Aspies,
Mhm.
develop the Cassandra syndrome, where they just have to control everything and take care of everything because they don't trust their
Right.
Aspie spouse to do it.
Yeah, that a lot of
Have you
parents.
read it?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it, but I can
Google
kind of
it.
see
Uh,
how.
A lot of parents of
Oh,
autistics
totally, I can
are
see
just Yeah, we're not going to go there, but I would like for both you to respond, okay, just because you're not showing a reaction to what people say, does that mean that nothing is, what's actually going on inside your brain? Because just because you're not saying something, that doesn't mean something's not bouncing around in your brain. So would either you like to, respond to that, the idea that you have absolutely no reaction to people, basically being jerks to you?
No reaction. It doesn't mean that much to me.
Okay.
I don't really care what you think.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So-
Well, then at the same time, see, that's really good. On the
Yeah.
flip side, that's really bad. Because when I ask for something, or
Mhm.
I have a need, he doesn't really care, is what I'm saying. It's the same thing that he does with other people, he
Mhm.
doesn't really care, so there's no response. That's why I get ignored. Because what he's saying to me is, I really don't care, Seta, that you want it this way, or this is important to you. I really don't care. I'm gonna do it my way.
We'll go back to the Cassandra syndrome. She's always been, I mean, yeah, we've been married 7.5 years, but we've known each other over 25.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And she's always been one that takes control and does it.
Right.
Okay, but,
So he doesn't have to.
well, no, see, that doesn't mean. Jackass.
Okay, so,
He's pretty smart.
So the Cassandra syndrome is synonymous with codependency then?
Totally.
Because that's exactly what's going on,
It is.
is codependency. Where, in the definition that we use for codependency in New Wine was when your identity and self-worth rests in other people, okay? And that could, take on the form of getting your self-worth by fixing them and making all their problems go away. That could take the form of like the spouse of an abuser, that they're just going to bend over backwards to do whatever it takes to please them, okay? And so that's at the root of what codependency is your identity and self-worth depends upon you being the perfect wife and fixing everything. The perfect mother, fixing everything with your children, perfect wife, fixing everything for your spouse. Okay, and so, I would definitely, suggest, that you take that in consideration when you're getting, frustrated with your husband, that you might have, that there might be some things that you just simply need to let go of, because it's not your job to make him the perfect husband, the perfect man. That's not your job.
No, you're right, I know that.
Yeah.
I guess in my pea brain, I'm thinking, I've already made so many changes.
Mm-hmm.
I've already done so much, I'm exhausted. I can't be any more easier going than I am.
So would you, like to respond to, now I forgot what the initial question I proposed to you.
I did too.
Yeah.
When somebody is saying something.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't, it
Yeah,
upsets
yeah.
you, but it doesn't seem to affect him.
Yeah, you show no external response, but is there an internal response going on inside your head?
Yeah, I know in my work group, there's about 6 guys in my particular work group at work. We do locations and inspections and things like that. And, sometimes we joke around in the morning, and they'll make some off-color jokes and stuff. And sometimes they're directed at me, and I just kind of grin and bear it and move on. I don't let it bother me. I just figure it's just guys joking around, and not.
And see, and I'm ready to rip their faces off.
Thank you, Sister.
But I'm gonna tell you why that is. It's because we believe they're damaged. That's what we think,
You believe
that
they're
he's
damaged?
damaged and he can't defend himself. So we're gonna come in like the mother lion and beat the crap out of somebody for looking at him crooked. But that's our problem. We have to understand that there's nothing wrong with him.
That's codependence.
Who said, no, that's a mother hen looking at him. Who said that there's something wrong with them?
Yeah.
If for all we know, we could be the ones with a problem.
Yeah.
But
Who's
when you
to
hear
say?
it clearly, like I've heard things clearly that people have said to him, and I'm like going, dude, that's not a
So have
compliment.
I.
Yeah.
So have I, but the fact is it's his fight, not mine. I
True.
got 5 children,
Yeah.
11 grandkids. I got enough
Yeah.
fight with that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
I don't need to take on another one.
No,
Yeah,
you
it's-
don't.
So if he's cool with it,
and the
I'm
thing,
gonna be cool with it.
the thing for me is, I'm tired of fighting. I don't want to be
No.
fighting 24/7.
No,
Okay,
you shouldn't
I have to
to.
fight enough with my deficits,
Mhm.
okay, that I have whether there's anybody around or not, okay?
Right, at the end of the day.
I don't want to fight with these autism organizations. I just want to talk to them.
Right.
No.
Okay, that's all I want. That's all I've ever asked for is for them to talk to us, and again, I'm not the only autistic self-advocate advocate in the city of Phoenix.
Of course
Okay,
not.
there is a core of us, and they won't talk to any of us, about our grievances. I don't want this war, but I have no choice because when I look at what quality of life I want, what's standing in between me and that quality of life is the public perception of autism that they're putting out and we're not allowed to challenge.
Wow.
And
Do you feel that part of that is because you got diagnosed and you got labeled?
yes, because like I said, there's all kinds of stuff that I did as a volunteer before I got my label that I can't do now as a volunteer.
And it's inhibited from being
I
able
got
to
it.
label.
Right.
And these are all people that are like college educated, they've got professional degrees and they're psychologists.
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that.
and that's
And so they're looking at you as an uneducated
Yeah.
person, and they're educated, so you
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about, and they do know. what
Yeah,
you're
be-
Which is crazy because most of the Aspies I've met have genius IQs.
Well, isn't Bill Gates supposed to be an Aspie also?
He's a rich one, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
hell yeah, he is.
well,
We picked the wrong Aspie.
yeah.
Yeah.
As far as, okay, it's not my place to out a fellow autistic Aspie who does not wish to self-disclose. I have an assessment of a lot of famous people that I believe are autistic,
Yeah.
but I will not tell you who they are, okay, unless they passed away. Steve Jobs,
Mhm.
okay, Nikola Tesla,
He get along with a lot of people.
Nikola Tesla,
As in the Tesla?
yeah,
Wow.
mhm.
Yeah.
Thomas Edison,
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Thomas Jefferson,
Very well.
let's see here, John Adams, James Madison,
Wow.
A lot of people are high achievers.
right, and yeah, of course, Leonardo da Vinci,
Yeah.
going further back, but, so, yeah, there are a number of people that, when you look at their biographies, okay, and, that they have autism just permeating from them.
Right.
I have people at work I know that I'm sure one of them's Asperger's never been diagnosed with me.
Mhm.
He was talking about guns, and he'll get on a subject, and just keep talking and talking and
Yeah.
talking. And I'm going, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Stephen at church has it.
So,
Steve?
Yeah.
He definitely has it. He's very low functioning, but
mhm.
it's like I could walk into a room and almost diagnose people. I'm like, stop it. We're not looking for Aspies. We're just here to visit.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something, yeah, I do too, but at the same time,
And I prefer to just be accepted as a person,
Yeah.
not as a label.
yeah.
Do you feel or know that it's hereditary?
There is a lot of evidence that says that it is, okay.
You look at your father or
yeah.
your children as having the same symptoms as you?
One child in particular.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah.
sister, Linda?
Yeah, the highest rate of autism, okay, and I can't actually independently verify this, but I heard the statement that the highest rate of autism in the United States is in Simi Valley.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I heard that somewhere too.
yeah.
I wonder why. Why City
Oh.
Valley?
Because that's where all the computer geniuses go, get married and have,
You're highly focused.
yeah,
Silicon Valley.
Oh,
Very narrow,
okay.
high focus.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
yeah, and so then they give birth to children
Which,
who are the same way.
yeah, that makes total sense.
But I wonder how much of it is learned.
Well, a lot of it's, yeah, your environment does affect, your upbringing. Yeah, no matter what's your neural connectivity is, and so yeah, it's like, okay, any of us could go out, for a try out for a city baseball team, okay, but we would never, but none of us is going to make the major league, okay. There's a lot of high school baseball players, that they get scholarships, or football players, they get scholarships. Yeah, they make it to college, but they don't snip the pros at all, because yeah, there's so much you can learn in practice, and then there's so much that if you're naturally gifted plus the practice, you're going to be elite. And some people are actually so gifted that they don't actually learn how to play their position right, especially in football. These quarterbacks, they can't throw the football because, that they're so athletic, not mentioning any names, but they're just so athletic that they, in some Pee-wee football, the coach just told them, take the ball and run with it. So they line them up as quarterback, they take the ball and they run with it, so they go to high school, they think they're a quarterback. No, they're a running back that's, that just, that's all that they are. They make it into the college, and they start teaching them a little bit about how to throw the football. Then they get to the pros, and their ability to throw is completely insufficient because nobody told them, okay, you need to throw that football. That is your job. Your job is to throw the football. Yes, running can be an asset. Your athleticism can be an asset, but your job is to throw the football. We have running backs. You're not the running back. You're not the tight end. You're the quarterback. You need to play like a quarterback. And I'm not mentioning any names, but there are some very gifted athletes that washed out of the NFL because they never learned how to play their position because they were so gifted that, that people with inferior athletic abilities supplant them.
Yeah.
Because the people with the inferior athletes had to learn how to play their position right.
Yeah.
Were the more gifted. So yeah, but if you combine the two, a superior athlete with somebody, with a tremendous work ethic, you get Larry Fitzgerald, you get Jerry Rice, you get these all-time elite players because that they didn't just rest on their athletic superiority. They learn how to play their position.
Right.
They learn how to catch the football, and so anyways. So it's 5 o'clock, and so it's time for us to wrap up. So does anybody have additional comments that they would like to make in closing?
I just want to thank you guys for your openness.
Oh, sure, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so, any?
Thank you for moderating.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I was more of a moderator, at this time. Like I said, I didn't prepare any notes. I still have my screens there. I have all these files that I could have pulled up if they were necessary to show you, all kinds of documentation, but it was just never necessary. So, anyways, and I thank all of you for being willing to open up, knowing that there is a video camera in here. Although I made sure that you're not on camera, but yeah, it's really good that you're willing to be honest with your spouse in the sitting right next to you.
Do you tend to avoid eye contact?
I don't avoid eye contact. I do not maintain eye contact.
Yeah, but I've noticed you have eye contact.
Right, okay, because I understand the value of eye contact. I know I need to be, look at you long enough to see, what your reaction to what I'm saying is. Okay, am I making you angry? Am I, are you happy or what? And I need to do that, especially with a topic that it could have gone completely off the rails if I didn't handle it
Is that
correctly.
something you had to train yourself to do, or come natural?
Semi-trained, okay? Once it was explained the importance to me, yes, I disciplined myself to do what I call, check-ins, okay? Periodically, make the eye contact with the people. Okay, and then once I get that information, finding out, how they're reacting to me, I can decide if I need to, to adjust things. But as far as, once I have that, while I'm making eye contact with you, okay, that's that's adding, that's adding more neural activity, okay? And so basically, that's taxing my brain more. And so if I want to focus on what I want to say, my eyes will just drift off to someplace with less sensory, that table there, that there's very little sensory, input, on that blank spot, where it's, looking at you, not only do, your eyes, your clothes, all that stuff, that's all sensory input.
Right.
There's a lot less sensory input over there, and so I just gravitate. It's not a choice to gravitate to look over at that spot.
Do you experience sensory overload?
Well, okay, as far as having meltdowns, I do have some sensory overloads in far as impairing my ability for self-expression. Okay, yes, you've seen how well I've expressed myself. Yes, I if you put me under enough stress, I will become functionally nonverbal. I will lose any capacity for verbal communication.
That's what I feel I have. Up here, I know what I want to say,
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't come out.
Right. And it's just stuck there.
Or like me, I'm afraid it's gonna come out wrong.
Mhm.
Well,
Bite me in the ass.
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. Depending on the situation you're in.
Because, to be honest with you, I say stuff, and then it does come out wrong,
Yeah.
you know?
Then
Yeah.
write it down.
Maybe that's just because my brain thinks the way it does, and I think it's okay, but it's not.
Yeah, especially, if you're dealing with touchy subjects such as, what we've been discussing here, and so, yeah, I have been very thoughtful as far as how I ask my questions, but at the same time, I've also been trained how to do this. Okay, like I said, I went to New Wine, they had trained facilitators, I took the facilitator training. Okay, so I have a lot of experience in how to ask, questions in a way that is most likely to have a positive response. Okay, but there's no guarantees. Okay, no matter how perfect I am, somebody just might be in a bad mood. Somebody just may not want to work things out, and no matter what I say, they're going to blow up at me because of their choices. And so as far as, in this particular format, okay, I'm used to doing this. So that's the reason why I excel. Now, in a real world situation, okay, I'll give you a great example of this. Years ago, I was at First Arabic Baptist Church, okay, doing English, trying to do English classes. But anyway, so I was helping out with their electronic sound system, overhead, stuff like that, computer overheads, and I am just not, I'm technologically inept, okay, and so I would just get so frustrated, with, okay, computers, they're just supposed to work, okay. My very first dedicated game console was an Atari 2600. You put the cartridge in, you turned it on, and it worked. Period. That's all there was to it. Then I got a Commodore 64. You turned it on, it worked. Period. That's all there was to it. That's how computers are supposed to work. You turn them on, and they work. Period. It's not like that anymore.
No, it is not.
And it is just so aggravating for me, and so I would get so stressed out not being able to figure out what was wrong with the sound system, which quite frankly was too big for these. The layout was not what was wrong. Okay, what the specific problems were. I would get that stress that I could not even articulate what the problems were that I was dealing with. So.
That's overload.
Yeah, and I refer to it as a shutdown.
Yeah.
My brain literally shut down. Losing any ability to actually even form complete sentences, form coherent thought.
Do you know that happens to me too?
Mhm.
High stress job,
Yeah.
dealing with a lot of things. We're remodeling the house,
Mhm.
which is, we're doing it, not a
Mhm.
contractor.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Stressful.
He's
Yeah.
doing it.
Because it doesn't matter who's doing it, really, we're doing
Yeah,
it.
it does kind of matter in a way, but at any rate.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have that issue, I have a dog at home that's dying,
Mhm.
you know, and then trying to communicate and keep my relationship alive.
Mhm.
I get overloaded where I just
Yeah.
cannot, I'm numb, I can't do
Yeah.
anything. And it's hard because you don't have anybody to go to.
Right, and that's the thing, every human being experiences this from time to time. The thing for autistics is that we're more susceptible to this because we struggle a lot more with things that we're just too smart to struggle with, okay? And so that just creates even more stress for us, okay? And so, go ahead.
I agree with that,
Mhm.
100%, but I can go to bed and get up the next morning and,
And you don't have it no more.
no.
Yeah, like we.
I am so
you know,
jealous of
we
you.
get
It's like,
I am so jealous of you.
I am too. We get into a fight. He wakes up in the morning and pretends like it never happened. And I'm
Well,
like,
but he's
I
not.
hate
Yeah,
you.
your carpet's this high too, huh?
Yeah.
Because it gets swept
Yeah,
under.
he's not pretending, he's.
He's really done.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
I get up and I'm just like,
Just let it go.
It's a new day.
yeah.
I just.
Life's too
Again.
short to stress out over.
And
Is
I
it 'cause you don't
guarantee you,
care?
and I guarantee
He
it's
cares.
not that.
He cares.
It's just,
Yeah, he's so logic-based
Yes.
that it's illogical to carry the frustration, emotions from yesterday onto today. That's what it is. It's not that he doesn't care, it's just that it's illogical, you know,
to go over it again.
yeah.
Remember Spock from Star Trek?
Oh, yeah, the needs of the many outweigh the
Yeah.
needs of the one on the field.
Mhm.
Boom, I got
Oh,
spot.
there are so many autistics in which Spock, as played by Leonard Nimoy, the original, the true
Yes,
Spock,
the real spot,
okay, the real Spock, they so identify with him.
of course.
Okay, and in fact, there's one that even
Data
referred
too.
to him as her role model. Spock was her role model.
Wow.
A autistic friend of mine.
But you know, here's the thing,
Yeah.
here's the thing about that, you know, we get the argument,
Mhm,
it doesn't get resolved because they don't wanna talk,
mhm,
and that's just too damn bad, they need to,
mhm.
Thank you.
okay, but they don't. And then the next day, it carries into the next day, and like she was saying, you know, or he was saying, he gets up and it's a new day, new dawn.
Mhm.
But it isn't
But
for
it
us.
isn't. Yeah,
Right.
it
It
isn't.
isn't for us, it's still hanging in there,
Mhm.
because there was no closure, there was,
Right.
you know, I
Nothing.
mean, a simple, I acknowledge you, or honey, can we discuss it another time, or can you send me an email, or can I mean, let's communicate via email, let's communicate via text, let's communicate via a letter.
Mhm.
Or you could call me a damn picture, it means you still love me, you know?
Yeah.
But something, just throw a crumb.
I agree, because
Yeah.
it's year after year, thing after thing, issue over issue. It just accumulates.
Yeah.
You know, first 5 years of our marriage, I kept saying, we need marriage counseling. So he would do nothing about it. I finally dragged him, and he was not engaged, right? Am I telling the truth?
Okay.
Thank you. To the point where I walked out, finally, at the end. I was done.
Mhm.
I just walked out, and that was the end of it. So he's supposedly is going to counseling now.
Do you know
You've
what,
been
honey?
one time,
We
I
have
don't
to
know,
take
you
care of
haven't said anything
ourselves.
about it. You haven't communicated.
We
Yeah.
have to take care of
do you mean we
ourselves.
talked
We
about
cannot, we
going
cannot
back?
rely on another person to take care of us. I mean, we have to feed our souls and our minds with outside stuff.
I
To get
agree.
away with them, to get away from it. It
I
doesn't
agree.
mean you don't love them, it just means that you need a reprieve.
Well,
It's
I think I've
it's
got a
like-
pretty busy life
It's
of
like
my
having a
own.
bad kid that you just don't want to put in a corner all the time. You're like, howdy day,
I know.
you know, go to bed.
Yeah.
I know, but at the same time, it's like, I do have a social life, I do have friends,
Oh, that's
I
good.
do exercise every day, I mean, I have things to
That's
do.
great.
But at the end of the day, why am I in a marriage if we don't have a marriage?
Oh, that's so sad, I'm sorry, honey.
Okay, well, yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be explored when we have, you know, because technically
More
we're
time.
10 minutes
I know.
past, and so, yeah, that's that's a very loaded statement, and like I said, something like that should be addressed in a format that's specifically geared towards that, and I think that this would be a good core group, the five of us, to start something like this, and see how it works out. Figure out what the perfect format for our group would be,
Right.
in order to work these issues out, because what I am hearing is yes, you're really frustrated at times, yet you don't realize how hard he's actually trying. Okay, it may not seem to you like he's trying, but what I'm hearing from him is he really is trying. Okay, and so yeah, I would definitely like to explore that. So when we turn off the camera here in a couple of minutes, see if we can come to agreement of a time and a place that we could start. Maybe one of you would want to host it in your home. I'm subject to the light rail, so
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would, but I'm in Mesa, so, yeah, that would be like a 3-hour tour for you.
Well, how far from the light rail are you?
I don't know. How far are we from the light rail?
Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
Maine and Mesa.
Well, we can, one of us could always pick
Yeah,
you up.
okay, well, yeah, we can figure that out once the camera's off.
I
But
just want
anyway,
to make it clear, if Jim and I are going to be a part of this.
right.
And we'll talk about it when we get home. I in no way, shape, or form want to have a group that is going to start picking at each other.
No, I agree.
Right, yeah, and that is,
I don't want to be a
yeah.
part of that.
No,
Yeah, and, well, like when I was sharing, my story, talking about, my parents didn't understand, and what was going on, and so, yeah, I'm not gonna bash them, and because it's very counterproductive.
Yeah.
It's just having a bash session. Like I said, I do have the training to have a constructive session where we're focusing on solutions. Okay, let's talk about the problems now. What is the solution?
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about finding solutions.
Me too. And
Okay.
I am so in
So-
it to win it.
So,
I like
okay.
that.
So anyway, so with that, I think we'll go ahead and close. And so, yeah, because you're going to get up and walk around too. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll close and till next month. This addendum to the main video is being shot on Wednesday, June 20th, 2018. After talking with my mom about my idea of sending out the fake resumes, to circumvent these computer algorithms and then show up to the interview with a real resume, I always figured it was a bad idea. My mom completely agreed, and so in any case, a alternative has been presented to me. In previous videos, I've mentioned Beacon Group. They're a job. I'm not even sure exactly, what their actual title is, but bottom line is they're the ones supposed to be helping me find employment and assisting me on all this stuff. And so, anyways, I talked to Melanie, and next Wednesday, a week from today, she's going to be helping me, figure out how to job hunt in the 21st century, and so, anyways, so as far as sending out the fake resume in order just to get an interview and everything, that's been scrapped, at least for now, because right now I don't know. I completely lost confidence that anybody autistic or a drug addict or anybody else whose life went off the rails can be shown an ounce of mercy by these companies by these cold-hearted computer algorithms that they have to deal with before they can even deal with a human being. And so, but in any case, I'm looking for any alternative. Right now, I'm dressed up and ready to go to a job fair. There's a couple of employers there offering a few positions that I think are doable for me, so I can at least get, some kind of job history, which is what's, if you watch the main video, that's what's caused me problems, is I have no job history for the past 9 years. And so if I could at least find a job that I can hold for 1 year, I can add that to my resume, then maybe I can actually get a job in the area that I went to school for. So we'll just have to see how things work out, but for now, that's all I have to say.